This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And joining me right now is Brent Charleton. He is the president and CEO of EnWave, publicly traded company. The symbol is ENW on the TSX Venture. And you can actually see Brent give a presentation on EnWave at our upcoming virtual event, the Planet MicroCap Showcase Virtual, happening April 20 through 22. So be sure to go and register to check out that presentation there. And yeah, Brent, good to see you. How you doing?
You too. You too. I'm doing well. Lots has actually happened since we spoke recently earlier this year in January.
Oh man, you must know how we do things here. So okay, that's the segue. We last published we published our last interview on January 5th, 2021. So yeah, bring it on. What do we got? What happened? What's going on?
Okay. Well, as some people do already know, our business is one where we're commercializing a patented vacuum microwave dehydration technology, which offers distinct value propositions for the food sector as well as the cannabis sector. And more recently, we got data that certain pharmaceutical products will benefit greatly from being dried with vacuum microwave versus incumbent technologies like freeze drying. And so since we spoke in January, I'll speak to the pharmaceutical side first. Merck Pharmaceutical, a long-standing research partner, published a white paper that showed our tech can save between 80 to 90% of the drying time when compared to traditional lyophilization, as well as maintaining repeatability and the efficacy of the biopharmaceutical product. That published paper then led to an influx of inbound inquiries about our tech from a lot of the big pharma companies, clearly looking at ways to create shelf-stable vaccinations in a pandemic world that we're in today. So through our collaboration with a very well-known player in the space, Vial-Based based in Germany, who builds large-scale GMP pharmaceutical equipment, we've now engaged with several other companies on a development path. So that's been exciting. In the cannabis space, we made major headway selling our first large-scale continuous drying machine to a US-based cannabis company in Illinois. That's the first large-scale machine sold into the US marketplace for cannabis. And we have several other prospective opportunities to close within the quarter for additional partners to come online. And that's a result out of the development of the protocols that we've employed on our technology that ensures a better total terpene retention when compared to room or rack dry, which is the standard process in that industry, as well as 100% retention of CBD and THC. And of course, there's cost reductions because of smaller footprint and a number of other value added attributes, which has really served us well when we're selling our tech into the space. And finally, in the food area, we had a big deal completed with a company called Bridgford Foods, which is a company that primarily sells baked goods and meat products, but has a long-standing relationship with the US Army. And the US Army has been evaluating our tech to create shelf-stable close combat rations, but didn't have a partner to actually produce it for them. So Bridgford will take possession of one of our machines to complete the first, call it R&D, if you want to call it that, to justify the business case for them to install a larger continuous line to hopefully provide meaningful amounts of these rations, primarily a cheesecake product and potentially a French toast product, to the US Army by 2022. So that's all happened really in the past 2.5 months here. There's other things, but I think those are of most interest to our listeners here today.
Wow, that's a lot that's gone down in the last couple of months here. So for those who aren't familiar with the business model of EnWave, how do all these events, eventually mean more revenues to the bottom line? Like how do you recognize revenue on some of these things?
Good questions. So we're monetizing our patented technology in 4 different ways. The first is we actually sell the machinery with target margins of between 30 to 35% to start. Of course, those can be negotiated up and down given the specific projects. And then the use of those machines produces product. And we attach a royalty based on the wholesale revenue derived from the sale of those products in the food space, typically between 2 and 5%. Or in the cannabis space, we attach a weight-based royalty, typically a penny per gram produced. In the pharmaceutical space, it's still a bit unclear how that would be structured. So we have the machine sales, we have the royalty generation, and then coming online in about 2 months' time, we'll have a toll manufacturing service option, which is aimed at being an accelerator to promote the adoption of the technology in-house with a number of additional companies. So they'll get to use this service to take a material amount of product to market to then test or justify their business case which will then make them feel a lot more comfortable deploying CapEx to buy our machines. And then the fourth would be our subsidiary company, wholly owned, called NutraDried Food Co., selling a product called Moon Cheese in the North American market. That product's done quite well, growing to about 29 mil in revenue in 2019, pulled back to about 22 mil in 2020 due to COVID reasons primarily. And we have very ambitious aspirations for NutraDried on a go-forward basis in 2021, 2022. So those are the four areas of revenue generation for our business.
Very good. I mean, so during that last interview that, I asked you about value catalyst for 2021, so my adjustment to that question for this interview, from what you can tell us, I have all these developments and then maybe some that might be coming up that, of course, only that's been publicly announced. Have they been in line with some of those goals that you've already been hoping to achieve thus far this year?
Yeah. I've said before, I don't believe there would be one specific relationship or deal that's going to be the grand slam to push the market capitalization up significantly. It's a series of commercial progressions. And we've seen that throughout fiscal 2021 to date. Our targets in terms of the number of machines that we hope to sell to generate positive EBITDA in the year is ahead of schedule through two quarters now. So we're, again, bullish on our total performance for the year and hope to have positive EBITDA at the parent company level. For NutraDried, a little bit more challenging in that we went through a restructuring and lowered the expenses in that business to get back to profitability, which we should see come to fruition in Q3, Q4. So overall, in terms of the metrics that you should look at our business, would be positive EBITDA on the parent company level, a rebound with NutraDried for Q3, Q4, and ultimately a company that is generating momentum in multiple sectors, being cannabis, food, and now even pharmaceutical.
Very good. Well, Brent, with that, where can our audience go and find more information about EnWave?
Our website's a good place to start. So that's www.enwave.net. Or I'm always available. Shoot me an email or a text message, and I'm happy to provide more context to the business progression.
Very good. Brent, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.